हमारे आसपास देश आजाद हुए थे, पाकिस्तान हमारे साथ ही आजाद हुआ, श्रीलंका पहले हुआ लेकिन डिस्टर्बेंस, नेपाल में डिस्टर्बेंस, म्यांमार में डिस्टर्बेंस, बांग्लादेश भी कोई ठीक दिशा में चला हुआ ऐसा नहीं है, लेकिन हम क्यों ठीक दिशा में चलते रहे? उसका एक ही बड़ा कारण है कि हमारे पास लिविंग डॉक्यूमेंट था, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, जिसको आज हम मना रहे हैं संविधान दिवस के रूप में, जिसके कारण हमारी ताकत भी आगे बढ़ी, संसार में भी हमारी ताकत आगे बढ़ी, संसार के देश भी हमारा लोहा मान रहे हैं, और हम बहुत सी विपरीत परिस्थितियों से भी निकले। कई ऐसी परिस्थितियां आई जब लगा क्या डगमगा जाएंगे, लेकिन हम नहीं डगमगाए। उसका एक ही बड़ा कारण है, वो है भारतीय संविधान। इसलिए जो आज संविधान दिवस हम मना रहे हैं, उसके लिए मैं बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं, शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। मैं पुनः हमारे मुख्य न्यायाधीश न्यायमूर्ति डी.वाई. चंद्रचूड़ साहब को पुनः बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं, क्योंकि ये साधारण पल नहीं। बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर जी की यहां मूर्ति लगना, और वो भी वकील की ड्रेस में लगना, और वो भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ठीक उस बढ़िया लॉन में लगना, ये ऐतिहासिक पल है। इस ऐतिहासिक पल की बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हुआ मेरी वाणी को विराम देता हूं। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
May I now request Honorable Chief Justice of India, Dr. Dhananjay Yashwant Chandrachud, to address this august gathering.
The Honorable President of India, Srimati Draupadi Murmu ji, my distinguished colleagues, Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Justice Sanjeev Khanna, my colleagues, judges of the Supreme Court, Minister of State of Law and Justice, Independent Charge, Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal ji, Chief Justices and judges of the High Courts, former Chief Justice of India, former judges of the Supreme Court, Attorney General for India, Mr. R. Venkatramani, Solicitor General, Mr. Tushar Mehta, Chairperson of the Bar Council of India, Mr. Manan Kumar Mishra, President of the Supreme Court Bar Association, Dr. Adish Agarwala, and members of the Executive Committee, Mr. Manoj Mishra, President of the Supreme Court Advocates on Record Association, and members of the Executive Committee, senior advocates, members of the bar, guests, and last but not the least, our backbone, the Supreme Court Registry. Namaste. We gather here to honor the adoption of our Constitution. This is a sentence we have heard several times today, and will hear several more times over the course of the day. I want to first take a step back and ask why. India already celebrates an Independence Day on 15th August and a Republic Day on 26th January. Why then a separate Constitution Day? The answer lies in the success of our democracy as compared to the countries which gained independence from colonialism at the same time as India. Indeed, the history of decolonization across the world is full of examples of countries that have thrown open the doors of independence only to falter at the steps of self-government. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the architect of the Constitution, and whose statue President Murmu unveiled a few minutes ago, asked in his final address to the Constituent Assembly, what would happen to India's democratic constitution? Will she be able to maintain it, or will she lose it again? India not only maintained her constitution, but also the people imbibed it and internalized the constitution as a symbol of their aspirations. celebration of Constitution Day thus symbolizes the social life of an independent nation. Our Constitution has allowed us to take the unbridled passions and energy of the people and streamline them through institutional structures of government. So when we say today that we honor the adoption of the Constitution, first and foremost, we honor the fact that the Constitution exists, and secondly, that the Constitution works. The Constitution and its framers successfully channeled energies of independence to build a ship and chart a course for liberty, equality, and fraternity. As we honor their achievements, we must also recognize our generation's solemn duty to keep the ship afloat, ensure that there is wind in her sails, and continue the journey. The Constitution of India is going to enter into its 75th year since its adoption. The Supreme Court of India, which came into existence on 28 January 1950, is also going to its 75th year since its founding. This moment allows us to reflect on the journey of the past while also envisaging our dreams and expectations for the future. In the last 7 decades, the Supreme Court of India has acted as a people's court. Thousands of citizens have approached its doors with the faith that they will get justice through this institution. Citizens came to the court to seek protection of their personal liberty, accountability against unlawful arrest, protection of rights of bonded laborers, tribals seeking the protection of their homelands, asking for guidelines to prevent sexual harassment at the workplace, prevention of social evils such as manual scavenging, even hoping for interference to get clean air, food security, and in so many more instances that cannot be summarized in a few minutes. These cases are not just citations or statistics for the court. These cases resemble the expectations of the people from the Supreme Court, as well as the court's own commitment to deliver justice to the citizens. Our court is perhaps the only court in the world where any citizen, no matter who they are or where they come from, can set in motion the constitutional machinery of the Supreme Court simply by even writing to the Chief Justice of India. From the postcards of the paper age to a simple email in the digital age, that is all that it takes to move the Supreme Court for an urgent case listing, sometimes even on the same day. Apart from ensuring that the citizens get justice through its judgments, the Supreme Court of India has been making continuous endeavors to ensure that its administrative processes are citizen-centric, so that the common citizen feels a connection with the working of the court.
ESCR Hindi and faster. Fast and secure transmission of electronic records version 2, which are recent initiatives of the Supreme Court of India.
Introducing the Virtual Justice Clock of the Supreme Court of India, a dynamic portal to share case statistics of the Supreme Court for the information of citizens and litigants. It offers a simple, user-friendly interface and can be accessed on the Supreme Court's website. Users can see statistics relating to institution of cases in the Supreme Court of India, along with disposal and case clearance rates. Virtual Justice Clock provides information on age-wise pendency, case listings and clearance rates in each category. लोगों तक व्यापक पहुंच के लिए Virtual Justice Clock अब हिंदी में भी उपलब्ध है. As part of its commitment to enhance access to justice, the Supreme Court of India has commenced translation of its reportable judgments into regional languages. A total of 36,068 judgments have been translated into Hindi by using machine learning technology, and out of these, 20,000 judgments have been made available in the ESCR portal. The Supreme Court of India is in the process of translating judgments in other Indian languages as well. 10,647 judgments have also been translated in other Indian
the same repeatedly. In our case, it was during the great freedom struggle that we came to realize their importance once again. The people from different corners of this vast and diverse country to reach the rich and the poor, men and women, the educated and the uneducated, city dwellers and villagers, followers of different faiths, found a common objective in the liberation of the motherland. As they struggled against the foreign rule, they came to appreciate the significance of justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. These values help us win independence. It is no wonder these find a special mention in the preamble and continue to guide our nation-building efforts. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is one word that sums up the four foundational values, it has to be democracy. If we imagine someone from outer space visiting the earth, this creature would be amazed at Indian democracy, the largest of its kind in the world. Consider the phenomenon. Nearly a fifth of humanity has decided to put one's individual destiny in the collective hands of the billion-plus fellow citizens. This is an immense trust, so immense that we fail to notice it is in routine. Moreover, India has been nurturing and enhancing this trust by deepening democracy even since its own freedom. How? By upholding justice, by stressing equality. All possible efforts have been made to empower every citizen, irrespective of gender, caste, creed, and other distinctions. That is why India has had people from highly varied backgrounds occupying high offices and excelling in various walks of life. If we consider gender, for example, the offices of the President, the Prime Minister, and the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, among others, have been held by women. Though their numerical strength is in legislative bodies was less, the long-awaited Nari Shakti Bandhan Abhiyan will increase their proportion too. Often reminds me of the so-called Bell of Justice, which often features in our mythological stories. Such tales highlight some king's love for justice by pointing out that he had installed a bell that any citizen could ring at any time of the day if he was seeking justice. When I heard such stories, as a child, I wondered if the king would have any peace of mind at all, with people clamoring for his attention all the time. Later, I realized that such a king would have made the justice delivery system so efficient that the bell would need to be rung only rarely. Therefore, in order to improve the access to justice, we should seek to make the overall system citizen-centric. Speaking to our systems, we realize that they have been products of time, more precisely, products of colonialism. Clearing away its vestiges has been a work in progress. I am sure that we can speed up the remaining part of decolonization in all domains with more conscious efforts. I believe involving the young generation in those efforts by making them more knowledgeable of the Constitution, its making, and its working will bear excellent fruits in that direction. The youth has become more interested in our history, and if they learn more about the transformative work of visionaries like Baba Sahib Ambedkar, the future of the Republic will be in safe hands. Ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate the Constitution Day, we should know that the Constitution is, after all, only a written document. It comes alive and remains alive only if its contents are put into practice. That requires the exercise of interpretation. I must congratulate the Supreme Court for playing the role of the final interpreter of our founding documents to the perfection. Well aware of their role and responsibility in India's democracy, these courts, bar and bench, have constantly raised the standards of jurisprudence. Their legal acumen and scholarship has been par excellence. Like our Constitution, our Supreme Court too has been a model for many other nations. With a vibrant judiciary, I am sure the health of our democracy is never going to be a cause of concern. I convey my best wishes to all the members of the judiciary in their endeavor. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Honorable President Ma'am, your words are truly a source of inspiration and strength for each one of us. Thank you, ma'am. May I now request Honorable Shri Justice Sanjeev Khanna, Judge Supreme Court of India, to propose a vote of thanks.
I consider it to be an honor that I've been given this privilege to propose this vote of thanks. As we commemorate the 74th Constitution Day, we find ourselves at a pivotal moment in our nation's journey. Indian Constitution has been repeatedly described as a living document because it's part and parcel of our daily lives. It had transformed lives of 350 million people in 1950 and continues to have an indelible imprint and influence on our lives of 1.4 billion people today. Affirmative action, unique federal system with strong center, non-discrimination, and affirmation of unity in diversity, right to education for children up to the age of 14, free, fair, and transparent elections in which about 900 million people participate with a sense of purpose and entitlement, the expansive interpretation of the expression life in Article 21 by the courts stands out and inspires us to chart a course for the future. Today, as we reflect on the objectives of our legal system, we must recognize the pressing need to make our laws more simple and accessible. Secondly, relatable to the younger generation and more humane. Today, during the course of the speeches over here, the Honorable President had referred to the preamble of the Constitution and the principles enshrined therein. She had highlighted the need to spread legal awareness and rededicate ourselves to the principles of liberty, equality, justice, and fraternity. She had also emphasized on the need for social and then gender equality. Cost of litigation was another factor which was highlighted by her. Then, lastly, she referred to the need to involve the younger generation in the judicial process